Most people think America's most infamous racist brotherhood was just a fringe group of men in white robes sneaking around at night. They have no idea that this organization once controlled entire police departments, stacked school boards, installed governors, and ran a multi-million-dollar political machine that reached from Alabama to Indiana to Colorado. They don't know that federal intelligence reports from the 2000s, not the 60s, documented active Klan infiltration inside American law enforcement, or that judges, pastors, and even Hollywood studios helped resurrect their mythology and broadcast it to the entire country. But the truth is even darker. This organization never disappeared. It mutated. It went underground. Its members traded robes for uniforms, business suits, and political influence. And the systems it built, the laws, the voter suppression tactics, the networks of intimidation, survived long after the hoods came off. In this video, we're exposing the secret councils that operated above local governments, the coded rituals and ranks borrowed from ancient orders, the propaganda machine that rewired American culture, and the modern groups that quietly inherited the playbook of America's oldest terrorist network. And near the end, you'll learn the most disturbing secret of all, the one piece of their legacy that still shapes Black life in America every single day. They controlled the sheriff who investigated the crime, the prosecutor who declined to press charges, the judge who dismissed the case, and the newspaper editor who never reported it. When you understand that white-robed terrorists didn't just operate outside the law, they were the law in hundreds of American towns, you start to see why declassified FBI files sat buried for decades. Because those files proved what historians whispered but couldn't publish. The Klan built a shadow government that controlled entire states. And when federal agents claimed they dismantled it, Klan members just took off their hoods, kept their badges, and continued running the system from the inside. Christmas Eve should mean peace, but Christmas Eve, 1865, in Pulaski, Tennessee, meant something else entirely. 6 Confederate officers gathered, their uniforms gone, but their hatred intact. General Robert E. Lee surrendered 8 months earlier. Black men now held political office in states their labor built. These 6 officers, trained military strategists who'd spent 4 years perfecting the art of killing, refused to accept this new reality. They created an organization pulled from Greek kyklos, meaning circle. But they structured themselves like a corporation before most American corporations existed. Imperial Wizard at the top, chief executive of terror. Grand Dragons governing state realms like regional vice presidents. Grand Cyclops managing recruitment. Klansmen serving as foot soldiers in a paramilitary franchise operation. Nathan Bedford Forrest became the first Imperial Wizard, the same general who commanded Fort Pillow in 1864, where Confederate troops massacred 300 surrendering Black Union soldiers. They borrowed Knights Templar rituals, coded passwords, and elaborate handshakes. They printed manuals and sold official regalia. This was organized, profitable terror with a business model. Their mission statement, written by Confederate General George Gordon, explicitly called for restoring white dominance through any means necessary. The Klan served as the unofficial military wing of the Democratic Party during Reconstruction, coordinating violence with local party officials who provided political cover. Before we dive into just how brutally effective they were at destroying democracy, if you believe these suppressed histories deserve exposure, subscribe to Black Stories Untold. We're documenting the stories they spent billions trying to erase. Now, back to the video. Democracy died in Louisiana during the fall of 1868, and it died loudly. The presidential election between Republican Ulysses S. Grant and Democrat Horatio Seymour approached, and Klan members knew exactly what to do. Over 2,000 documented casualties, killed, wounded, or vanished without a trace. St. Landry Parish maintained voting records showing 1,071 registered Black Republicans before October. The Klan arrived on October 17th. 3 days of systematic house-to-house raids, teachers dragged from schools, preachers pulled from pulpits. By October 20th, the killing stopped because there was no one left to kill. Official death count: 237 Black Republicans murdered. Election Day, November 3rd, 1868. St. Landry Parish results: 0 votes for Grant, 4,787 votes for Seymour. 1 parish, erased from democracy in 3 days. Columbia County, Georgia followed the same pattern. September gubernatorial election: 1,222 votes for Republican Rufus Bullock. 2 months later, presidential election: 1 vote for Grant. The Columbia County Klan achieved 99.9% voter suppression in 8 weeks. The Klan assassinated Arkansas Congressman James M. Hines on October 22, 1868. 3 South Carolina state legislators, Benjamin Franklin Randolph, Simon Coker, and Lee Nance, murdered between July and October 1868. Florida's Freedmen's Bureau documented 153 murders of freedmen and white Republicans. Most perpetrators were never arrested because local sheriffs were Klan members. Washington finally noticed the bodies piling up. The Force Act passed in 1870, followed by the 1871 Klan Act granting President Grant sweeping authority. Grant sent soldiers into 9 South Carolina counties. Federal prosecutors arrested over 600 Klan members. But prosecutions revealed the depth of Klan infiltration. Defense attorneys were Klan members. Court clerks who lost evidence were Klan members. Jurors who voted to acquit were Klan members. The system was investigating itself. Forrest officially disbanded the Klan in January 1869. Local chapters ignored the order. They operated independently through 1872, then gradually dissolved. Not through federal enforcement, but because they accomplished their objective. By 1876, every former Confederate state had white Democrats back in power. Black voting suppressed. The Supreme Court declared the Klan Act unconstitutional in 1882. By then, white control was restored and institutionalized through law. 33 years of silence. Then Hollywood gave them back their power. November 1915. William Joseph Simmons, failed preacher and professional con artist, sat in a darkened Atlanta theater watching D.W. Griffith's The Birth of a Nation. 3 hours of pure propaganda portrayed Reconstruction as black savagery and the Klan as America's noble defenders. The film grossed $18 million in its first year, equivalent to over $500 million today. President Woodrow Wilson screened it at the White House. Simmons saw dollar signs. Thanksgiving night, 1915, he gathered 15 men and led them up Stone Mountain, Georgia. They burned a cross, a symbol Griffith invented for the film that the original Klan never used, and declared the Klan reborn. He partnered with publicists Edward Young Clark and Elizabeth Tyler, who implemented modern marketing strategies. Traveling salesmen called Kleagles earned $4 from every $10 membership fee. The Klan sold official robes at $6.50 each, insurance policies, real estate schemes, and merchandise. By 1920, 6 months after Clark and Tyler launched their campaign, membership exploded to 85,000. By 1924, historians conservatively estimated 3 million verified members, making it America's largest fraternal organization. The Klan generated approximately $25 million annually, over $400 million in today's money. Indiana became ground zero for Northern Klan power. 500,000 members in a state of 3 million people. Grand Dragon D.C. Stevenson owned Indiana's Republican Party. In 1924, 40,000 Klansmen marched down Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C. in full regalia, parading their power in broad daylight in the nation's capital. The Klan expanded targets beyond Black Americans. Catholics faced boycotts and bombings. Jewish communities endured conspiracy theories about international banking cabals. Immigrants faced Klan-backed legislation restricting immigration. Labor organizers were targeted as communist agitators. Klan members infiltrated police forces in Detroit, Indianapolis, Portland, Denver, and Dallas. They controlled school boards determining curriculum. District attorneys who wore Klan robes by night refused to prosecute Klan violence by day. D.C. Stevenson, Indiana's Grand Dragon, kidnapped and assaulted Madge Oberholzer in March 1925. She died from infection and suicide after the attack. Stevenson's murder conviction exposed Klan hypocrisy. His trial testimony implicated dozens of Indiana politicians in Klan corruption. Membership collapsed. By 1930, only 30,000 members remained. The organization officially dissolved in 1944, unable to pay its federal tax debt. It was on May 17, 1954, on a day meant to mark a turning point, when the air shifted. The Supreme Court's Brown v. Board of Education decision had barely been announced, its ink still fresh with the promise of change, when something long dormant began to move. From the edges of towns, from back rooms and forgotten halls, the Klan started crawling back into the light. Within weeks, localized factions resurfaced: White Knights of Mississippi, United Klans of America, Original Knights. Different banners masking the same murderous ideology. Birmingham Police Commissioner Bull Connor coordinated with Klan leaders, providing inside information and ensuring officers looked away during Klan violence. When Freedom Riders arrived at the Birmingham bus station on May 14, 1961, police were mysteriously absent for exactly 15 minutes, the time Klan members needed to attack riders with baseball bats and lead pipes. And when the movement for justice finally began to rise, their response slithered out just as predictably. The Klan's answer to the civil rights movement was not debate, not resistance, but a calculated campaign of terror. Murder carried out with precision, conviction, and the certainty that no one in power would dare stop them. June 12, 1963. Past midnight. Medgar Evers pulled into his driveway in Jackson, Mississippi. Byron De La Beckwith waited in the shadows 150 feet away. The rifle bullet struck Evers in the back, killing him while his family screamed. Beckwith walked free for 30 years. September 15, 1963. Sunday morning. 4 girls, Addie Mae Collins, Cynthia Wesley, Carol Robertson, and Carol Denise McNair, ages 14, and 11, fixed their hair in the 16th Street Baptist Church basement bathroom. Above them, 19 sticks of dynamite waited. 10:22 a.m. The explosion killed all 4 instantly. FBI identified the bombers within weeks. J. Edgar Hoover blocked prosecution because FBI informant Gary Thomas Rowe participated in Klan attacks. Prosecuting would expose FBI complicity. The bombers weren't convicted until decades later. June 21, 1964. 3 civil rights workers, James Chaney, Andrew Goodman, and Michael Schwerner, investigated a church burning in Neshoba County, Mississippi. Deputy Sheriff Cecil Price arrested them, then released them into a Klan ambush. They were shot execution style and buried in an earthen dam. Price served 4 years. March 25, 1965. Under a night that should have been ordinary, that the shadows closed in. Viola Liuso, a 39-year-old white mother of 5, had volunteered to shuttle exhausted marchers after Selma to Montgomery, believing she was simply helping people get home safely. But as she drove along that lonely stretch of highway, a car packed with Klan members, including FBI informant Gary Rowe, pulled up beside her. A burst of gunfire shattered the dark. 2 bullets ended her life instantly. Her killers walked away with sentences of 3 to 10 years. Rowe walked away with complete immunity. And the pattern never wavered. The Klan strikes from the shadows. Law enforcement turns its gaze elsewhere. State courts seal their doors. And when the federal government finally acts, justice arrives diluted, reduced to light sentences and late apologies, long after the graves have settled. Robert Byrd embodied everything wrong with American power protecting white terrorism. Democratic senator from West Virginia from 1959 to 2010, 51 years. Before the Senate, Byrd was a Klan recruiter in the 1940s. He called them upstanding people. He used Klan money to launch his political career. In the Senate, he opposed every major civil rights advancement. He filibustered the 1964 Civil Rights Act for 14 hours straight. He wrote to segregationist Senator Theodore Bilbo in 1945, "I shall never fight in the armed forces with a Negro by my side. Rather, I should die 1,000 times than to see this beloved land of ours become degraded by race mongrels." Later, Byrd claimed he'd left the Klan and regretted his past. Politicians praised his redemption. Hillary Clinton called him her friend and mentor. Joe Biden delivered his eulogy in 2010. Buildings throughout West Virginia carry his name. March 21, 1981. Michael Donald, 19 years old, just wanted cigarettes. But two Klan members, Henry Hayes and James Knowles, saw a black teenager walking alone and decided he'd pay for a perceived injustice that had nothing to do with him. They grabbed Michael off the street, beat him with tree limbs, strangled him, cut his throat, hanged his body from a tree on Herndon Avenue. Lynching as political communication, terror as tradition. Beulah Mae Donald refused to let her son's murder become just another unpunished Klan killing. She sued the United Klans of America with help from Morris Dees and the Southern Poverty Law Center. February 1987, an all-white jury in Mobile delivered their verdict, $7 million in damages. The judgment bankrupted the United Klans of America. A grieving mother achieved what the government wouldn't. They want you to believe the Klan is dead. The Anti-Defamation League estimates 3,000 active Klan members. Small numbers, right? That's exactly what they want you to think. The Klan's organizational structure didn't die. It evolved. Contemporary white power networks operate through militias, online forums, and patriot groups that adopt Klan ideology without using Klan branding. No more obvious robes and burning crosses. Now it's tactical gear and encrypted chat rooms. A 2019 investigation identified hundreds of active duty police officers participating in racist Facebook groups. The FBI warned in a 2006 intelligence assessment about ghost skins, extremist movement members who infiltrate law enforcement to recruit, gather intelligence, and shield criminal activity. The hood came off. The badge went on. Same hatred, different uniforms. And when you step back and look at the bigger picture, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. For nearly a century, the Klan functioned as a shadow government. They controlled sheriffs who investigated crimes, prosecutors who brought charges, judges who decided cases, politicians who wrote laws. Declassified FBI documents reveal entire counties where Klan membership included most law enforcement officers. They built parallel power structures that outlasted their official organizations. When the Klan disbanded, its members remained in positions of authority, carrying the ideology into institutions they still control. Voter suppression tactics pioneered during Reconstruction persist through modern voter ID laws. Unequal school funding that started with Klan-controlled school boards continues through property tax-based education financing. Police violence against Black Americans that Klan members normalized continues in departments they once infiltrated. The Klan took off the hoods, but they never left the system. They became the system. And until America confronts how deeply white terror networks embedded themselves into law enforcement, courts, and government, their legacy continues shaping who gets policed, who gets prosecuted, and who gets protected. Robert Byrd isn't the exception, he's the template. And if one Klan recruiter can serve 51 years in the Senate, get praised by presidents, and have his past quietly forgotten, then ask yourself something far more uncomfortable. How many others walked the same path? How many hid in plain sight? And how many people you pass every day, at work, at church, at the grocery store, learn their politics from the same ideology that once lit cross after cross? You may never know their names, you may never see their hoods, but their influence didn't vanish. It simply changed clothes. They built the systems that continue that terror under different names. And that's the buried history they spent decades covering up. If this systematic cover-up shocked you, click on that video to uncover more hidden Black history they've been burying for decades. This is just one story they erased. We're digging them all up,